Today's video, I'm answering all your questions about the new Dura Ace 9270. About 2-3 weeks ago, I got my hands on it and I'm so fortunate. I have a great relationship with my bike shop. Happen to love Trek, and Trek was the first company to get Shimano, especially here in Canada. I got tons of questions and I'm gonna try to answer all those questions in this video. And the only questions that I'm focusing on is stuff that I have first-hand experience with. So the wheels, I don't have the wheels, I don't have the power meter. So I'm gonna stay away from questions like that, and I'm just gonna answer the questions that I know the answer to for sure. Like, huge one, we're gonna start with compatibility. Huge question I've been getting, are the old shifters, the 91 shifters, compatible with the 92? No, 100% no. I actually have the 9150 Sprint shifters that are supposed to work with it, and I can't get it to work. I plugged it directly into the battery. I plugged it into the shifter. It doesn't work. But what does work is any type of switch. Let me show you. So these are the 9150 Sprint shifters, and I stripped the wire, and then what I did is splice them to this wire. This is the 300 series wire, but any button will work. And so what I mean by that is the way the 9070 Sprint shifters work is it's just a button. These are its own shifter, and that's why it doesn't work. I don't know, maybe it will work soon. They say it's supposed to, but I haven't been able to figure out how to do it. But any button will work as long as you splice it in to this wire. And that's what I did. I took the 9070 Sprint shifters, which are awesome, and just tapped them into the wire. And the bottom port of each shifter is just a switch. So any switch will work as long as you hook it up to this wire, and that's what I did. And so in my understanding, the only thing that is compatible with the current 9270 are chain rings. The old Shimano chain rings, and even these absolute black ones. For my understanding and my own testing, that's the only thing that work. There's been some questions, will the 91 series work the 9200 series brake caliper and vice versa? No idea, haven't tried it. Maybe it will, but there's supposed to be new technology. I think it probably would, but you might not get the benefit because they're supposed to work together. Yeah, it's not something that I would do personally, because I think once you're going that far, you might as well just get the group set. I know people want the 12 speed and keep the shifters. From my understanding, I don't think it's gonna work, because these brakes are better. They're more modular. I found the 9170 brakes, they're either on or off. These, you get a much more controlled feel as you're pulling the lever. And what I mean by that is you pull the lever a little bit, it grabs a little bit. You pull it more, it grabs a little more, and then you can really just start clamping down. The brakes are better, for sure, on the 9200. So that brings us to chain rings. And the huge question that I've got a bunch of times is, can you measure the teeth between the chain rings? Can you measure them? I'll try. I'm gonna show you right now, we're gonna measure them. But I have these calipers, and these by no means are the way you're supposed to do it. And these aren't even the best calipers, but I'll try and measure them right now, show you them side by side, and see if we can see some differences. 92 on the left, 91 on the right. I think someone wanted me to measure the thickness. Problem with measuring these chain rings is it looks like they get wider as you go towards the chain ring. I got 3 different chain rings here, and then I'm gonna show them to you. 2 of them are brand new. One on the left, 92, one on the right, 91. 92, 91. It looks almost identical to me. Here's an absolute black, just for comparison. I'm measuring it right at the bottom here. I'm gonna measure this part. So this is the 91. Make sure we're zeroed. Two millimeters, 1.99. Do the same thing, grab it right here. Same thing. Okay. Does it shift better? Of course it shifts better. I've seen some other reviews where it says it's marginal. And it depends. The front shifts faster for sure. And I have other videos if you guys want to check them out. I'll link it in the description where I compare the rear shifting and the front shifting in slow motion. It's not that it's faster, it just slips in and out of the gears better. And that's because I think of their Hyperglide Plus system. There's more cutouts on like little chamfers and different sized teeth. And I think that's part of what makes it slide in and out of the gears better. Like I say in all the videos, it feels like the cogs are closer together and the chain is thinner and it just slips in and out of the gears better. So yeah, it does shift better for sure. Now in terms of that extra 12th gear, do you notice it? I don't really notice it. I'm sure it's good to have for cadence, but if I rode one or the other, I couldn't tell if there was an extra gear. Now another thing with the shifters themselves is that they are longer, and so they are further away from the handlebar. I've seen a few questions where does that mean you need a shorter stem? And I never even thought of that until I saw the question. So I think that would be personal preference, but I think it's only like a centimeter, which I guess you could get a centimeter shorter stem. I never noticed a difference at all, but maybe you would. Again, I never thought of that until someone mentioned it. So the shifters are wireless and my system is set up wireless with the shifters, which is amazing for when you set up the bike, if you're building the bike yourself. It's way better to not have to worry about running that wire through the handlebars into the bar end junction box. Now, a question was, does it shift faster wired? And I haven't tested it wired, but I don't think it would, just based on my experience, because it shifts before the finger comes off the button. I mean, it shifts instantaneously. So if it is shifting faster wired, which I'm gonna test, I've just been so busy because I'm going to Tucson. We're leaving in 3 weeks, we're renting out our house. Big thing. I will test it when I'm in Tucson because I do have the wires, but I would be surprised if it shifts faster wired because it already shifts so fast. It's fast. Especially the front derailleur. And that brings us to the front derailleur. So there were some questions about trimming the front derailleur, and I have it in my other video. Again, I'll link it in the description where I walk you through everything. But it basically brings up this prompt on the E-tube, which you hit start, it tells you to pedal, you pedal, it puts you at the high end of the cassette and the high end of the chainring. You make your micro adjustments, and then it changes you in each instance, low on the cassette, high in the derailleur, vice versa. And then you set the derailleur in each instance so it remembers where it should be. So that's why there isn't any limit screws, which is really cool. There is one thing I dislike about it, and we're gonna get to the rear derailleur, is the rear derailleur, that's where the junction box is, and that's where you charge it, and I'll show you how you charge it. But that's where the function button is on the rear derailleur. One of the things I liked about the function button being on the stem or on the bar end is so you could adjust it. Like sometimes you put a new cassette on or something, you put a different set of wheels on, and sometimes when you're adjusting trim on the rear derailleur on the stand, it's not the same as being out on the road under pressure because the frame flexes. So I found being able to do those micro adjustments on the fly while the bike is under tension is much better. But it's a huge pain in the ass to do it with this because you gotta hop off. And you gotta hop off, you gotta press the button, get back on, make the adjustments, press the button, get off, press the button to take it out of the shifting mode again. So in terms of my overall experience with the new Dura-Ace, that's one of the biggest downfalls. If the only downfall is that there isn't a function button in the cockpit so for those micro adjustments. Maybe a couple of times a year you're like, oh, this sucks. But other than that, that's it. Let's take a look at the rear derailleur real quick. So on the derailleur itself, here's the function button right here. You press it once, it gives you the battery life. And then if you hold it for 2 seconds, it turns yellow, that's shifting mode. And then you hold it again to turn off shifting mode. And then 2-second press brings you into Bluetooth pairing. And then you press it again to turn it off, check battery. All right, so here's the port right here. And then here is the charging cable. And I actually think it has to go this way. There it goes. So there it is. And so there's the charger. It's almost like a magnetic click. There you go, it's in. And then to close the door, it just snaps in like that. That's it. The new charging cord is just a cord. There's no box on it. It's just a cord wound up. The old one, you got the box, and then you have the micro USB. Now, I really think they should have made this USB-C. That would have been awesome. Because this is, you know, you need this specialized cord. If you lose it, you're in trouble. Same with the old one. But I guess it's not the end of the world. It's still an improvement. Also, something that I think is really cool that I like a lot is that little clip that holds the wire. You can see it right there. I love that. It makes it look super clean with that wire there. And with the rear derailleur, it now takes a 34 tooth cassette, where the previous 9100 only took a 30 tooth cassette. I think in one of my previous videos, 30 tooth cassette, and someone thought I said 32, but it's only 30. And those are the max capacities of each derailleur. 34 on the 9200, which is awesome. And that's what I'll be running when I can get my hands on that gearing, is a 5440 and 1134 in the back, which I think would be perfect for me. I still prefer SRAM's gearing, but this is supposed to be more efficient. I don't know if there's any truth to that. From my understanding, the 10 cog in the back creates more friction, but again, don't know if there's any reality to that. Didn't notice a difference when I had my SRAM axis. I almost forgot the most important question, and that is the new Dura Ace worth it? And it depends on how you look at it. I know all YouTubers say that, and it frustrates me too, but let me explain. If you were to go out and just drop $5,000 on the new Dura Ace, is it worth it? No. But most people aren't in that position because they have something to sell or they're buying a new bike. Someone that's looking at buying the new Dura Ace most likely has the current Dura Ace. So let's look at a couple scenarios. Scenario number one, let's say you have same situation I had. I have a nice bike with the current Dura Ace on it. Let's say you pull off the current Dura Ace and sell it for $3,500, $4,000. And the new one costs you $5,000 and you only have to spend $1,000 to upgrade it. Yeah, I could say it could be worth it at that point. But it depends on what you're looking for and what's important to you. Let's look at another scenario. Let's say you're looking at upgrading your bike completely. I know for myself, the cost of this bike with the new Dura Ace, the Amonda SLR with the 9270 was the exact same price as the same Amonda with the 9170. So is that, in that case, if you're just going to buy a new bike and you want the new Dura Ace, is it worth it? Yes. Is it worth it when you compare it to Ultegra? No. And the reason I say that is from my experience with all Dura Ace compared to Ultegra, Ultegra works just as fine. The only thing you're getting with Dura Ace is weight. And I think it's like 200-300 grams, maybe a quarter pound, something like that. I think that's what you're saving with the new Dura Ace. I'll put the numbers up on the screen to make sure. So when it comes to Dura Ace to Ultegra, is it worth it? In my opinion, no. Do I still buy the Dura Ace? Yes. That's because I got the money and I want the nicest stuff. Now, what kind of guy are you? Are you the guy that wants the nice stuff and it's new and it's sparkly and that's how you roll? Get it. That's what I did. But if you are really trying to conserve money, then 100% is not worth it. The old Ultegra, the 8000 series Ultegra works great. You're not going to have any issues with it. Is the shifting upgraded a little bit? Does it feel nicer? Yes, it does. Does it brake better? Does the brakes engage better? Yes, they do. But anyways, you can see where I'm going here and you can see why it's not an easy question to answer. And that's why there's so many different variables. It depends on the person looking for it. If you're strapped for cash, definitely don't buy it. The previous generation Ultegra and even the previous generation Ultegra is great. It works. It shifts just fine. So I hope I'm clear on that. I really hoped my insights here helped answer that question for you because it really is the most difficult question to answer with a product like this where something comes new, it's marginally better. Anyways, I think you know where I'm going. Please, if you like the video, like it, and please hit the subscribe button. It helps me out so much. I love making these videos. I got so many ideas. I'm gonna be doing some more stuff. I'll see you on the next video. I'll see you soon. Bye.